The first principle is very straightforward. It's educate yourself. And when I say educate yourself in relation to procurement, what I mean is understand what you buy, and by that I mean very clearly understand the specification of what you're buying, the quantity of what you're buying, and the price that you're paying for it. Now, it's one thing to do that for an individual hotel. It's quite another to do it as a group. And generally, without exception, when we sit and work with groups, we tend to find that they genuinely just do not know to the product what they're buying in detail. And what I mean by that is, if you say, I want to know my top 10, 50 items that I buy across the group, and I want to know it in 5 minutes, please. If they can't come back to you with that answer in 5 minutes and give you confidence with the data you see that it's real, the chances are they don't have it. Okay, so by that I mean really crystal clear data. It's an example on screen of the kind of data we get, and I'm not criticizing it, it's just where the industry tends to be. The kind of data we got from Jumeirah in this case, from just one hotel, and of course they had 6 hotels, all buying sea bass, but of course every hotel was describing their sea bass differently, and if you're in any way skilled like I am with language and spelling, you're going to spell it wrong. So I don't know if you noticed down there, the bottom product, sea bass fresh farmed. So it's subject to spelling interpretations. Everybody's using different units of measure. They're using grams and G's and K's and capitals. So how can you, in one, properly identify how much sea bass you're buying, let alone try to then identify across the group how much sea bass you're buying? So what Marketboomer does in that regard is we impose a discipline and a rigor around how you describe the products that you buy. And this is what I mean by know what you buy. Now, whether you use Marketboomer or any of the technology, the investment should go in to having a really solid naming convention for how you describe things and a mechanism to roll that out across the entire group so that you are comparing apples with apples, every day across all properties. So everybody describes sea bass fillet, skin on, scaled, bone out, average weight 220 to 230 grams by the kilo. That's what I buy. So when one chef says, oh, but my sea bass is better priced than his, what was the head on? Was it gutted? What's the average weight of it? And all those things that never get answered, and it's all just too hard. So when we go in and sit down, we actually tend to sit with the chef and we say, right, chef, is the head on or is it off? Is it fresh or is it farmed? Is it gutted? And so on and so forth. And you won't be surprised to hear that very often they don't know the answer to those questions, and we have to do a little bit of digging. But anyway, if you go to that process, you will then be able to, A, ensure that if you get your price on everything that you buy, that your invoices match your POs that we talked about a little bit earlier on. It never fails to amaze me how many people send purchase orders out by the phone or by fax with no price on the PO. And then an invoice comes in and they're matching quantities, but not prices. And they say, oh, but I've got a contract. And how many times do you go back and actually check that the price you're paying is actually the price you agreed to buy it for? We see a huge amount of opportunity in that area. The other benefit, of course, of getting this level of data is that you can benchmark with your group and you can start to identify genuinely is one operation buying better than another. So that's a real key lesson. Educate yourself.